Sandra Kanu never imagined Seoul would change her life forever. She'd come to South Korea chasing a dream, to expand her small Lego-based skincare line into the Asian market. At 35, she was a single mother grinding hard, attending trade shows, meeting with potential distributors, doing everything she could to build something bigger for herself and her 6-year-old son back home. The trip was supposed to be all business. Wake up, pitch her products, network, repeat. But her cousin Gozi, who'd been living in Seoul for 3 years teaching English, had other plans. Tonight, Gozi dragged her to some upscale club in Gangnam, insisting she needed to live a little. And honestly, Sandra was living. Hey there, before we continue, please like this video and hit the subscribe button to support my channel. Thank you. The bass was thumping through her chest, the soju cocktails were dangerously smooth, and for the first time in forever, she felt free. She wore a crimson bodycon dress that celebrated every curve of her full figure. Her box braids swung past her shoulders, and her brown skin seemed to glow under the strobing lights. "Sis, you're killing it," Ngozi screamed over the music, hyping her up. Sandra laughed, winding her waist to the beat, completely in her element. She'd forgotten what it felt like to be just a woman, not a mom, not a business owner, just herself having a good time. What she had no idea about was the predator watching from above. In a VIP section, so exclusive most clubgoers didn't know it existed, a young man sat frozen, every muscle in his body focused on the woman in red. His name was June. Just June. In Seoul's underworld, nobody dared ask for more than that. At 25, June ran the city's most ruthless criminal syndicate. Narcotics, firearms, extortion, corrupt officials. If it was dark and lucrative, June owned it. His reputation made grown men nervous. Cars cleared the road when his convoy passed. But right now, watching this woman move with that kind of confidence, he forgot how to think straight. His right-hand man, Tae, caught the shift immediately. "Boss, you good?" June didn't respond. Couldn't. His entire focus was locked on her. She wasn't some young girl trying too hard. She had this presence, this self-assurance that younger women couldn't manufacture. She moved like she'd earned every ounce of that confidence. He wanted her. No. He needed her. "Get me everything," June said, his voice low and lethal. "Name, hotel, reason she's in Seoul. Everything." "On it, boss." Tae immediately started making calls. But June wasn't the patient type. He stood and headed down. Sandra was so caught up in the music, she didn't notice the crowd beginning to separate around her. Didn't see people backing away, creating space like they sensed danger approaching. But she felt it when the energy shifted, when the noise seemed to dim, even though nothing had changed. Then a voice behind her cut through everything. "You move like this whole place belongs to you." Sandra spun around and nearly forgot how to breathe. The most beautiful man she'd ever laid eyes on stood inches away. Young, maybe mid-20s, with flawless skin, razor-sharp jawline, and eyes so intense they made her stomach drop. He was dressed head to toe in black, and everything about his posture screamed power. "I'm just enjoying myself," Sandra managed, trying to sound normal even though her pulse was racing. "I can tell." His English was flawless, with just enough of an accent to make everything sound seductive. "I'm June." "Sandra." "Sandra," he repeated slowly, like he was memorizing how it felt on his tongue. "Can I buy you a drink?" Every instinct told her to decline. This man radiated danger. But Sandra had spent years being careful, being responsible, being the good single mom who never took risks. Tonight, she wanted to be bold. "Sure," she said. They moved to the VIP area, and Sandra immediately realized this wasn't normal. Private sections with velvet ropes, champagne that probably cost more than her monthly rent, security everywhere. "So, what do you do?" Sandra asked, sipping champagne that tasted like liquid gold. June smiled, but it didn't touch his eyes. "Import-export. Business. Pretty boring." Liar, Sandra thought, but she didn't push. They talked and talked. Or maybe they didn't. Time felt strange when June looked at her like she was the only person in the universe. He asked about her business, her life in Lagos. He listened like every word mattered. I'm only here for 2 more days, Sandra said eventually. Then I go back home. June's expression darkened. 2 days isn't nearly enough. Enough for what? To make you want to stay. He leaned in closer, and Sandra could smell his cologne. Expensive, intoxicating. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since I saw you dancing. That's never happened to me before. You don't even know me. Not yet. His fingers brushed her cheek, and electricity shot through her whole body. But I will. And you'll know me. And then you'll understand why I can't let you walk away. Every alarm bell in Sandra's head was screaming. This was too much, too fast, too intense. But God, she didn't want him to stop. I should find my cousin, Sandra said, standing even though everything in her wanted to stay. June rose too, sliding a matte black card from his pocket. Have dinner with me tomorrow. I don't think that's smart. Have dinner with me, Sandra. A request, please. That last word softened it just enough. She took the card. Sandra found Ngozi at the bar, looking panicked. Girl, where have you been? I almost called the police. I met someone, Sandra said, still feeling dizzy. Who? His name's June. He wants to take me to dinner tomorrow. Ngozi's face went pale. June? Just June? No last name? Yeah, why? Ngozi grabbed her arm hard. We're leaving. Right now. What? Why? I asked the bartender about VIP, and when I said June's name, he looked terrified. Sandra, people are scared of him. Like, genuinely scared. Sandra's stomach dropped. What are you saying? I'm saying you just spent the night with a gangster. Back at the hotel, Sandra couldn't sleep. She kept replaying how June looked at her, touched her, spoke to her like she was precious. The next morning, someone knocked. A hotel staff member stood there holding the most extravagant bouquet of roses Sandra had ever seen. The card read, Dinner tonight, 8 p.m. My car picks you up at 7:45. Where read again. You looked like royalty. There's also this, the staff member said, holding up a garment bag. Inside was a designer red gown that probably cost more than her entire inventory, and it was exactly her size. Exactly. How did he know? Her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Sandra. June's voice made her knees weak even through the phone. Did you get my gifts? How do you know my size? How do you know my hotel? I wanted everything perfect for tonight. Say yes, Sandra. Let me show you what life could be. Every logical part of her screamed no. This man had tracked her down, learned her measurements. That wasn't romance. That was stalking. But another part whispered, when's the last time anyone wanted you like this? Okay, Sandra heard herself say. I'll come. You won't regret this, Sandra Kanu. I promise. He hung up. Sandra stared at her phone. He knew her last name. She'd never mentioned it. She looked outside, and her blood turned to ice. 5 black SUVs sat parked outside the hotel, just waiting. Sandra called Ngozi immediately. We have a problem. Ngozi arrived within minutes and gasped when she saw the window. Those weren't there last night. Sandra, what have you gotten into? I don't know. Sandra was pacing frantically. He seemed intense but sweet. But this, she pointed at the SUVs. This is insane. Cancel the dinner. And say what? Sorry, the stalking is a turnoff. What if he gets angry? Her phone rang. June. Hello. Those men outside are protection, not intimidation. His voice was too calm. I made a mistake being seen with you publicly last night. Now, certain people know you matter to me. Those men keep you safe until you leave Seoul. Matter to you? We just met. I know. But Sandra, I've never felt this before. Ever. In my world, when something matters, I protect it. You matter. What world? What do you actually do, June? Long pause. Have dinner with me and I'll tell you everything. Complete truth. No secrets. Sandra should have hung up. Should have packed and caught the first flight home. 7:45, she said instead. But I'm driving myself. Send the address. Sandra. Those are my terms. Take them or leave them. She could hear him smile. You're stubborn. I love that. I'll text you. After she hung up, Ngozi stared at her like she'd lost her mind. You're actually going? I have to know what this is, Sandra said. That night, Sandra put on the red dress. It fit like it was custom-made for her body. She did her makeup, put on her gold jewelry, tried to ignore her shaking hands. The address led to an exclusive restaurant in an area that screamed wealth. When Sandra pulled up, June was waiting outside, and her breath caught. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than her car. When he saw her, his whole face transformed, softened. You came, he said, opening her door. I said I would. You could have changed your mind. I'm glad you didn't. He offered his hand. Sandra took it. The restaurant was completely empty. Where is everyone? Sandra asked. I rented the whole place. I wanted privacy for what I need to say. They sat by windows overlooking Seoul's glittering skyline. The food was incredible, but Sandra could barely taste it. She was too focused on June, who watched her with those burning eyes. You said you'd tell me the truth, Sandra finally said. So, tell me, what do you do? June put down his fork and looked directly at her. I run Seoul's largest criminal organization. Drugs, weapons, money laundering, protection. If it's illegal and profitable, I control it. Sandra's heart stopped. You're a gangster. I prefer businessman, but yes. I'm what you'd call a crime boss. She should run. I've killed people, Sandra. His voice didn't waver. Not many, but enough. I've ordered hits. Destroyed lives. I'm not good. Then why tell me? Because I need you to know exactly who I am before you decide. He took her hand. I'm 25 years old, and I've never believed in love. Never. I thought it was weakness. But then I saw you dancing, and something broke open inside me. I can't explain it. I just know I need you in my life, Sandra. And I won't lie about who I am to get that. This is insane. We just met. You're a criminal. I'm a single mom with a skincare business. This doesn't make sense. Love never makes sense. Love? You don't love me. You don't know me. Then let me. His grip tightened. Stay in Seoul. Get to know me. Let me prove I can be what you need. I can't just abandon my life. Why not? What's waiting? An ex who's moved on? A son who's being cared for by your mother? A business that's struggling because you can't catch a break. June leaned closer. I can give you everything, Sandra. Everything you've dreamed of. Just say yes. How did he know about her ex? Her son? Her mother? You investigated me, Sandra said slowly. You dug into my entire life. Yes. That's insane. That's survival. I don't take risks with things that matter. Sandra pulled away and stood. I need air. She walked to the balcony. June followed. Seoul sparkled below them, breathtaking and overwhelming. I'm scared, Sandra admitted. You scare me. Good. You should be scared. June came up behind her, close but not touching. But I'll never hurt you. I'd burn this city to ash before I let anyone hurt you. Why me? Why not someone younger? Someone who fits your world. Because you're real. His voice went rough. Everyone in my world is fake. They want my money, power, protection. But you looked at me like I was just a man. Not a monster. Just a man. Do you know how rare that is? Sandra turned and saw it. The loneliness in his eyes. Deep, aching loneliness. I can't stay, she said softly. But I don't want to never see you again. Then don't leave. June cupped her face. Give me 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks to prove this is real. After that, if you want to go, I'll put you on the plane myself. Please, Sandra. Give us a chance. Her phone rang. Ngozi. I need to take this, Sandra said, stepping away. Sandra. Ngozi was crying. You need to get out now. What? Why? I've been researching June all day. He's not just a gangster. He's wanted by Interpol. There are rumors he's personally killed over 20 people. There's a whole dark web forum about bodies that vanish when people cross him. Sandra felt sick. 2 years ago, a woman tried to leave him after dating for a month. They found her in the Han River. Sandra, people who get involved with him don't just leave. They disappear. Sandra's hands shook so badly, she almost dropped the phone. I have to go. She hung up and turned to find June standing there. He'd heard everything. Is it true? Her voice was barely audible. Did you kill a woman who tried to leave? June's expression went cold.
No.
But I know who did, and I made them suffer for it. She wasn't mine, but she died in my territory. I took responsibility. That's not an answer. The answer is I've killed people who deserved it. Rapists. Human traffickers. Men who hurt women. His eyes were black ice. But I have never and will never hurt a woman. Especially not one I care about. How do I know you're telling the truth? You don't. June stepped closer. You have to trust me. And I know that's asking the impossible. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the building. Glass shattered everywhere. Alarms shrieked. June grabbed Sandra and yanked her down just as bullets ripped through where they'd been standing. What's happening? Sandra screamed. My enemies just made their last mistake. June pulled a gun from under his jacket. Stay down. Don't move. Men in tactical gear stormed the balcony, and June moved like death itself. Sandra watched in horror as he dropped 3 men in seconds, his movements surgical and terrifying. More men flooded in. June was shouting in Korean into his phone. Gunfire. Screaming. Then silence. June grabbed her hand. We need to leave. Now. They ran through the restaurant, past bodies Sandra tried not to see, out to the street where black SUVs screeched to a halt. Get in. June shoved her into the middle vehicle. What about you? I'll be right behind you. I need to make sure they don't follow. June. But he was already gone, running back with his gun raised. The SUV took off, Sandra screaming for them to go back. They drove for what felt like hours, taking corners so fast she felt nauseous, until they arrived at a massive compound with walls and armed guards everywhere. A man opened her door. Miss Kanu, please come. You're safe here. Where's June? The boss will arrive soon. But an hour passed. Then 2. Then 4. Sandra sat in a luxury room that felt like a cage, staring at her phone, jumping at every noise. Finally, at 2 a.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. A voice she didn't recognize spoke in accented English. Miss Kanu. My name is Chun. I lead the Jade Dragon Syndicate. And I'm currently looking at your boyfriend June, who has a gun to his head. Sandra's world stopped. What? He's alive. For now. But that depends on you. What do you want? You, Miss Kanu. In exchange for him. We've been watching. We know you're important to him. We're offering a trade. A trade? You give yourself to us. And we let June live. You have until sunrise. That's 4 hours. Choose wisely, because if you don't come, we'll send him back in pieces. The line went dead. Sandra stared at the phone in absolute horror. Outside, she heard vehicles, dozens of them. She ran to the window and nearly fainted. 50 black SUVs were surrounding the compound completely. June's men were scrambling, grabbing weapons, shouting orders. Her phone buzzed. A text from the unknown number. Look outside. That's our army. 4 hours. Come to us or everyone dies. Including June. A photo came through. June, bloodied and tied to a chair, unconscious. Sandra's hands shook so violently, she could barely hold the phone. What had she gotten into? And how is she getting out alive? What will Sandra do? Will she sacrifice herself to save June? Or is this all a trap? Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss part 2. This story, because it's about to get absolutely wild. Don't forget to rate this episode on a scale of 10.